Hey guys, I'm Primitive Tim, and today we're going to be checking out some new stuff I've done to the van, and we're also going to go over how much all this stuff is costing, because I think that's really important in case you want to take a trip like this and you want to know if you can afford it. So the first thing I did was I got the van registered, which of course is kind of expensive. You know, it was well over $100 just to get it registered. Also, another thing was the muffler. In the earlier episodes, you saw me driving it around, it was really loud. So let's go underneath and look at that muffler. So now with that new muffler, things are so much quieter. And I almost actually miss that loud rumble it used to have. It's very nice having a much quieter car. Look how quiet she is. So that muffler cost me a little bit over $100, which that was a little bit pricey, but I think in the long run, it's totally gonna be worth it. Now, another thing that kind of irritates me is the window doesn't go any further down than this. And so that's because the wheel well is right below me. And so there's just not enough room in the door for it to go all the way down. So when I'm driving along and I've got my arm hanging on the window, it's just kind of uncomfortable. So what I did was I got this pull noodle. You can just slide it right on there and it's totally comfortable. So now I can cruise in comfort. Now another thing that happens when I bought the van, it actually didn't have the right key to the van. So none of these locks on the whole thing worked. But the ignition worked because you can pretty much just stick anything in there that'll turn it and it'll start, which is really unfortunate. And so I got a key made, and that cost about $25 to figure out what key went to it, and then I went ahead and got 2 keys made just to have a spare. Now, with it being so easy to start without the actual key, I figured, you know, this is going to be really easy to steal. And actually, a lot of these get stolen, and if you look in the link below, I'll show you a link to a car chase that happened with one of these, because people just steal them all the time. They're really easy to steal. So to combat that, I went ahead and bought myself a club. So the way this works is you just stick it in like this and it locks. So you can't take it off unless you hack through it or hack through the steering wheel. And so basically you're unable to turn it very far at all. And so you've got about less than 180 degrees to be able to turn it here. And that's just not a whole lot. So it would make driving away with this very, very difficult. It still starts even with the club on. So I'm gonna see what happens if I try to steal it with this club on it. We'll see how far I get. Yeah, so basically with this club on here, I'm not going very far at all. And the way I put this on, the wheels are already turned to the side and I can't even go straight. I have to always curve. Now it is a little bit of an inconvenience because you gotta put it on there and then you gotta take it off and you have to store it somewhere, which is a real pain in the butt. But when I'm out in the middle of nowhere or like in South Dakota or something on my trip, getting my van stolen is really not an option at all. It just cannot happen. So this club was, I think it was like $25 or something, and I think it'll definitely be worth it in the long run. Now my birthday was earlier this month, and my great-grandmother gave me some of her old blankets. And there's 4 of them here. And then she gave me a quilt as well, which is inside, and it needs to be mended a little bit. And so that's really awesome. It's cool having like family heirlooms with you and you're still using them. Also, a friend of mine, Adam, he gave me this down comforter, which is gonna keep me really, really, really warm if it does get cold, especially earlier in the spring. And that's really awesome. Thanks, Adam. Another really cool thing that I got for my birthday, which I asked for, was this bead seat cover. And basically it's gonna help with wear and tear because the seats are already pretty tore up. Also, it's gonna allow air to flow between my body and the seat, which is gonna be great because toward the end of the trip, I imagine it's gonna be getting pretty hot. And so having that air being able to flow between you and the seat is gonna be nice, just because you're gonna be sweating. And especially with this kind of material, a lot of times your sweat just really sticks to it and it gets nasty. Now there's one thing I really needed to fix, and that is this dome light. Basically all I needed to do was switch a fuse and replace the bulb. And so you can see now it works and everything's great with it. And so this is gonna be nice, you know, when it gets dark on, you know, if I'm riding or something. Or I just need to like switch it on real quick in the middle of the night and look for something. I've got that little light right there, and it's not gonna be taking up much electricity at all. Now there's been a little bit of rust on the frame of the vehicle, and I really wanted to take care of that pretty quickly. So what I did was I just got some silicone, and this stuff it says it's good for marine and auto, and it says it's really good in the sun as well. It doesn't get old and crack. So I just went around the edges wherever I saw like any spot that didn't look like it was sealed very well, or any rusty spots. There's even a hole that had rusted through. I just went around the edge and made sure I sealed those up and just kind of covered that with some silicone, just so we don't have water getting in there and rusting out even more. Because right now it's pretty minor rust, but of course a little bit of rust is going to grow into a lot of rust. The silicone didn't cost that much. I think it was like $8, but I pretty much gone over everything that I've spent money on, and so right now I'm about at $1,200 or so, a little bit over I think. And so and that's of course considering the van cost $800 itself. So it's just a little over $400 extra that I've put into the van so far, and that includes registering and getting that the muffler fixed. And those were big things. Those cost almost $300 together. So I've still got like a few $100s left in my budget, and it's not really strict. I do have some extra money that I could put into it, but I don't really want to touch that money. I'd rather save that for the trip. Now it's important to remember that these videos aren't a how-to video. These are basically documenting what I've done and how I've done them. So don't get on here and say, hey, you're doing this wrong. If you have a better idea, tell me your better idea, and I'd love to hear any of y'all's ideas. This is basically documenting what's going on, what I did, because if everything goes well, then it proves that what I did was fine. If things don't go well, then of course that proves that there's probably some things that I didn't do so well, and that's totally a possibility. So thanks for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed already, be sure to subscribe. Once I take this thing on my road trip across America, you'll be able to follow along, and I'll be releasing videos on how the trip is going and all kinds of cool adventures that I get myself into. So don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching. Peace out.